Good evening and welcome back to CNN Money Switzerland and our ongoing coverage of coronavirus. I'm Olivia Chang. Let's start by taking a look at the latest situation here in Switzerland. These are the numbers that you need to know. More than 22,000 people across the country have now tested positive to coronavirus. 641 deaths have been reported and 412 people remain in intensive care. Health officials said that the situation appeared to be stabilizing, but stressed that the crisis was not near a solution and still urged people to remain indoors. Meanwhile, the KOF Swiss Economic Institute has put a number to the potential fallout of coronavirus in Switzerland: 35 billion Swiss francs. Bear in mind, this is their worst case scenario, but on the other side of the spectrum, they're still saying that it could be a loss of 22 billion Swiss francs. The sectors feeling the most pain are expected to be hospitality, transport, as well as retail. Now, Swiss eye care company Alcon joins the list of firms that are issuing a profit warning in the midst of coronavirus. It's suspending its 2020 guidance, saying today that eye care procedures and exams have been put on hold across many markets. Its dividend has also been cancelled until 2021. The company spun off from pharma giant Novartis earlier last year. Finishing up, joblessness in Switzerland has jumped by more than 20% in March compared to the same time just last year. To put that into perspective, around 135,000 people across the country are now registered as unemployed. It comes at a time when job postings are also slumping, roughly by about a quarter, and that was since Switzerland rolled out nationwide measures to try and contain the virus in middle of March. Now, Google has selected 6 European companies to take part in its new accelerator for startups that are trying to work towards the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. My colleague Casimira Jeffert caught up with the director to get the latest on their roundup.
So we've selected the startups that we have selected solve, for example, for the climate change. So like Ever Impact is a startup that is trying to monitor the air pollution and the carbon emissions in cities. We also have a startup that is trying to solve for the loss of biodiversity. So they are using honeybees and monitor their behavior in order to detect what is the problem that the number of insects is dramatically decreasing every year. So all these startups are using really advanced technology. So some of them use AI ML, some of them use satellite, the geographic information systems. Some of them use augmented reality, like a startup that we have from Pakistan, Wonder Tree. So a variety of technologies to solve for those problems which are either connected with the environment or food, or any topic set by the United Nations.
Meanwhile, Google for Startups maintains that right now, during the crisis, it's still a good time for the industry.
It's a huge opportunity for startups because startups are digital companies. They use technology. Their consumers use technology. So since more people will feel comfortable with digital, they can have more consumers and also they can innovate faster. So while now we focus, of course, very much on the crisis itself, but I think the future can actually bring a lot of innovations, mostly coming from those agile companies because they are like used to change. They have, let's be honest, less to lose, but they have a lot to win if they really understand the new consumer trends well, and if they are passionate about solving the new challenges and problems that occur, but also the new opportunities. So I'm personally quite optimistic for the startups. I think some of them has really a chance to accelerate right now.
And there's a new coughing test for COVID-19 that has been developed here in Switzerland. My colleague Ana Maria Montero walks us through how it really works.
Okay, it's all good. I'm all good here, except I have a little dry throat. I'm actually just testing out a new application whose goal it is to be able to tell people whether or not they are COVID-19 positive from the sound of their cough. It goes right here on your phone. Simon Hofmar, one of the co-founders of Detect Now, joins me. Okay, Simon, I've coughed into the application. Now where does this go? What's the next step?
Exactly, Anna-Maria. So while you were coughing, we recorded it on the application, and we can quickly replay that. So that sounds like your cough. And then we can just upload it to our database, our tool. We submit it, it will load for a few seconds, and then it will be able in the future to give you a prediction how likely you are to have COVID-19 simply from your voice recording. So the vision is really that everybody can get tested at any time and at zero costs by coughing into their phones.
So instead then of going to a lab to get your results, this goes to a server.
Yes, and it goes directly to our server for the machine learning algorithm to run for your cough sound sample and to see whether you're likely to have COVID-19 or not. And then it will send the results right back to your device on your smartphone or on your web application. And for doctors, they're able to classify certain types of coughs by hearing, but on a viral level, humans are not able to do that. But what we believe in is that we can now detect through machine learning actually patterns in the cough sounds that humans cannot detect by hearing.
Now, if I understand it, you're still in the collection phase of the data, which means that even if you cough in there, you're not going to be able to send immediate results. Is this correct?
This is correct, yeah. This has a lot to do with actually the approval process. So before we can do diagnostics, we need to go through clinical trial, make sure that the process and data collection is very fulfills high standard, because obviously this is a very important in the application in medical devices that the predictions are accurate. So we're currently collecting data to train the algorithm and to prepare now for the clinical trial. And only once we've passed this stage, we will be able to actually give diagnostics to the people.
Now I have to ask you, especially now in times of this outbreak, time is of essence. I mean, how long is this going to take to resolve itself so that you can, in fact, have people use this and get the results of the testing?
Absolutely. So time is of essence, and that's why also we are working almost around the clock on this to move it forward. We're happy to really have support from a broad community of doctors, machine learning engineers that reached out to support this project. And usually this process of medical trials would be a process of months. Given the current urgency around COVID-19, we hope that we really can reduce that process and have it within weeks. But this is currently still pending. The process that is a bit out of our control, but depends on the ethics committee to which we also submit our proposal.
Mm-hmm. So are we talking a matter of weeks, a matter of months? How long?
So it would be, if you're able to go on a fast track, it would be a matter of weeks instead of a matter of months, but it won't be in a few days. That's just not the timeline things work in a medical sphere.
And if it didn't make it to address COVID-19, for example, if it took a lot longer than you anticipated, is this kind of technology also applicable to other medical issues?
We believe that there's a lot of applications for different kind of disease that you could predict also from your voice sound recordings. So if we would bring a solution too late to the market, then we still believe that there's a lot of other applications which can build upon our findings and have an application in the medical field.
Besides the availability, another big discussion, of course, is the price of the test that I've seen go up to at least 500 Swiss francs. So you mentioned that it's going to be free. I mean, there's no cost involved at all?
That's correct, yeah, because we don't use any hardware. We really want to make it available to everyone to use for free, and that way support the health system in Switzerland and beyond, and allow anyone to get tested at no costs. And this is possible because it all runs through the algorithm on the servers, and there's actually no test kits that need to be produced. It's all running in the cloud.
So what is your business model here? How do you plan to make money?
So there is actually no business model in that sense. We're all organized as open source and non-profit, and we are built this now with a community of doctors and machine learning engineers that are working pro bono. And we are in touch with other researchers who are also working on this with non-commercial purposes. And that's the way we see it. We want to bring a solution to market as quick as possible and not need to sell a solution and make a profit out of it.
You're in the business, of course, of collecting data then. How secure is your data?
So data security and privacy is obviously very important to us as well. So that's why you made sure that the data is stored securely, and you also made sure that the data is provided anonymously. So the sound recordings are not attached to any user data that would allow us to backtrace who recorded that data.
At what point did you say this could work? This is something that we could work to help with the COVID-19 crisis?
I was actually posting the idea initially on LinkedIn to my network, and then I really saw that it got a lot of interaction. People shared it in their networks, and then machine learning engineers started reaching out, liking the idea, and thought it was worth trying it out. Doctors reached out as well, and we really built up a team. Within less than 48 hours, we had 10 people working on it over the entire weekend, built the first prototype, and then we were also lucky to actually win the hackathon Code versus COVID-19. And that's how the thing really got rolling. And now we have even more contributors and are collaborating on this cross-border and remotely.
And it's only been what did you say, 10, 12 days? Or
since I posted on LinkedIn, it was 10 days, yes.
If we bring it back to the cough, then I don't have symptoms of COVID-19, but is my cough still useful to you?
Absolutely. So with every cough, we improve our algorithm. So you could go to our website, detect-now.org, record your coughing, and label that you've not been tested yet, and you can still use that recording and improve the algorithm.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Simon, and for your story. Really appreciate it.
It was a pleasure being here.
A mental health care advisor, a website for domestic violence victims. My colleague Tanya Koenig takes a look at some of the winning ideas from the recent Versus Virus Hackathon in tackling COVID-19.
Tell us what exactly the idea is of your platform.
So we were working on the subject of domestic violence because we found that it's a huge issue. And especially during the COVID-19 isolation time, there is a 30% increase of domestic violence happening all over the world. And knowing that only 20% of people who are experiencing the domestic violence usually speak about this, we wanted to provide a solution which is very innovative and can help people to share their stories or get help, no matter if they're in the isolation or not. So we wanted to prevent this and help people find some solutions thanks to our platform, which is called Yana. Yana Help stands for You Are Not Alone. And we developed a prototype in 48 hours during the hackathon. We wanted to grow the network with witnesses, neighbors, pharmacies, and shelters who can help in the future these people who experience the domestic violence. We wanted to create the discussions in the platform where people can share their stories and get the moral support. Also, we wanted to provide them with safe places near where they live, with maps that we included in our platform. And also, we included the save button. If something urgent happens while the person is searching help on our platform, he can go away really fastly with no consequences.
Have you also been in touch with other institutions, like, let's say, Frauenhaus, that actually look for domestic people that are suffering from domestic violence?
We did contact several of institutions yet, but we didn't really get an answer from them yet, so I cannot completely say that it's done already. But we're really looking for it now, and we're searching for those who can help us. We would like to get bigger institutions, like governmental or social ones that can provide the infrastructure for us and maybe help us to grow our network and assure that our solution lives even through the crisis and after.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're aiming even for after the crisis?
Yes, sure. This is a solution we brought. We really loved it to be functional already now because this is the time of crisis, but even later on because the quantity of resources that exists already and people working in this sphere is very, very huge. So we would like to, everybody who wants to participate and help, we really would like to have in our team and joining this project with us, because our project was brought by the team with different backgrounds, the people who work in the different spheres, and we really understood that anyone can bring something to it.
Felix, tell us about your idea.
So our team, we came up with the idea to connect, to exchange and finding solutions for a balanced lifestyle, because due to the current outbreak we are facing of COVID-19, many citizens in Switzerland may be at the risk of suffering from mental health. So our platform will build a support system for people who are suffering from mental health issues. We will build a professional help platform and connecting the people to professionals, and then in the future building a community. So this could be a digital platform, first of all, it's the goal, and then to go to an app, with an integrated chat system. The system will be, we have verified psychology students who have like a first check-in with people who are struggling, who have challenging times, who can direct the people to experts who will collaborate in the near future.
It seems like it's quite advanced or thought through. What are the next steps to actually make it available for a wider audience?
So during the hackathon, we built already a web page. So the next steps will be to have a good hosting. So register by a domain and who is going to host the domain. And then we need a real app development to work with experts, backend developer for the community page. We want to reach out to institutions, universities to go collaborate, to engage students in the field of psychology. And then we will want to reach out to hospitals, institutions, universities, hospitals. And then a big field for our work will be with the data security, so the data management. It's so important where will the data will be stored on a Swiss server, because to have a safe data, how can you say data storing? Yeah?
Florian, so what about your platform that should help employers to apply for short-term unemployment? How does it work?
So the thing is, we noticed that to apply for short-time work is actually a huge paper trail, and the administrative process behind it takes a long time. And once one of our team members actually saw people bringing boxes of forms that applied for short-term work, he came up with the idea that we could actually digitalize that. And we built a platform that shows the whole process, and we have some example data in there. We can simplify and accelerate the process, because for now it is like that you have to print out the form and then send it in by post, and that just takes a long time. So our platform does that all digital. So the cantons all have their own restrictions, so we're trying to count these in. And in the end, it might just be an API that we're providing. It might be that we're sending out emails with the data, but our aim is to simplify the whole process and get rid of the huge paper trail.
What are the next steps to make this short-term unemployment platform available for everyone?
So we already have a prototype live, but we're trying to involve all the stakeholders, and those are the cantonal offices. We couldn't get in touch with them over the weekend, understandably. So we're trying to reach out to them currently. We're also looking for funding to secure the project. And we just need to talk to the offices, because there are so many regulations and law in place that we need to consider, and also data protection. So
I guess there were also a few challenges when you speak about all these regulations and
yeah, absolutely, because our goal is to build a Swiss-wide solution, and also something that can be used in the future, because the paper trail is not going to go away after the crisis.
Mm-hmm. So it's something that you're still working on. It's not completely functional yet, I guess. From all the three solutions that I heard, I assume that you still have to work on it before you can actually make it available.
Yeah, absolutely, we do. We have a prototype that shows the functionality that we implemented. There are some things that we want to change, for example, styling, and it doesn't use actual data yet, but mock-up data that we generated.
Great. Okay, good. Then thank you very much for joining, and I wish you good luck with your projects.
And don't forget, you can stay up to date with all of our content by heading over to our platforms, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. And remember, all of the latest interviews and content is also available at our website, cnnmoney.ch. In the meantime, take care, stay safe. We will see you very shortly. I'm Olivia Chang. Good evening.